Today, we welcome back historian, writer, and host of Lost LA, Nathan Masters. Hey, Nathan, how you doing?
Great, Judy. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, what a kind of a wild week we've all had. I hope you're safe from what's been going on.
I've been staying safe, but yes, it is difficult to talk about really anything else at this time when there's so many people suffering. So let's just acknowledge that.
So we are here to talk about season seven, and as always, you have some amazing shows that you're going to have. And the first one aired last Tuesday, and it was
Mhm.
amazing. It was about the space shuttle. So let's talk about that really quick. Like, what was that like to, especially now to see that it went from this to this? How does all that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it was a real treat to be able to go on the construction site because, as you know, they're still working on this massive new Air and Space Pavilion that will host the space shuttle. But for several years it was lying, it was elevated, but it
Yeah.
was it was horizontal, and they moved it to a new place and they put it upright with rocket boosters and a fuel tank attached. So we got to go on the construction site. I got to interview the curator who was responsible for bringing the Endeavor to Los Angeles and who oversees this entire aerospace collection. Yeah, it was a real treat.
Yeah, I know when that thing flew over, I happened, instead of being in downtown LA, I was at Disneyland of all places, and it was amazing to see it go over the happiest place on earth when it did.
That's a great place to see it. Yeah, I was actually up at the tower at the top of LA City Hall, which was also had a great spectacular view of it.
That's pretty awesome. What was it like sitting
Yeah.
down with the engineers? You sat down with some of them, didn't you?
Yeah, I sat down with four or five engineers who had worked for Rockwell International and helped design and construct the space shuttle. It was amazing to hear these stories. I mean, unfortunately, every time we shoot a scene, we have an hour at least of conversation. We have to cut it down to 5 minutes, but
Oh,
but there was just so much gold spun in that interview. Yeah,
and I learned, being a SoCal girl, that I didn't know all of this took place over in Downey. What
Downey.
Downey,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know,
Downey was the that yeah, that was where not only the space shuttle was that was where it was conceived, designed, and more or less constructed, but also the Apollo program, right? The
yes.
Apollo capsule that took astronauts to the moon. That was all in the middle, in this relatively nondescript Rockwell facility in the middle of Downey. And yeah, that's true that not a lot of people. So my grandfather actually worked for Rockwell and worked on the space shuttle. So growing up, I sort of knew that, but a lot of people have forgotten that today.
Yeah, it was a great episode, and folks, you can still watch it on PBS SoCal or the other ones that they
Mhm.
have. So we'll get the information as to how they can watch that. And you have one coming on tonight, the Cold War
Yes.
Secrecy. That one was kind of it's always spooky to see those. It's hard for me to watch those, and I don't know. I was born in '60, so I guess there were sirens, but not really being in the LA area. How did it affect you? Do you remember anything?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what was spooky was going down into that
Yes.
nuclear fallout shelter in Northridge. First of all, that ladder was not easy to step onto. It's a 12-foot fall on the concrete. But when you're down there, I mean, everything it hasn't been improved for decades. And but just the thought of people spending months down there waiting for
Mm.
the air to clear, waiting for it to be safe to come out, um, totally confined, totally isolated from the rest of the world. It was just the thought of that haunted me. I couldn't wait to get out of there, to be honest.
And how did you or PBS find that particular person to go to and find that hole in the ground?
You know what? There was a viral real estate listing on, Zillow or Redfin or something like that. And our producer, or some member of our production team heard about this. And we contacted the real estate agent, got in touch with them, and they were really gracious and let us shoot there.
Yeah. So folks, you can watch that tonight at 7:30. And it was definitely a good episode to like go back. And I kept rewinding it, and because I could see it ahead of time. And it's like, what they say? What did he do? And yeah, when you're going down there, I was like, wait. Getting
Right.
anxiety. You're a trooper.
Yes. Thanks. Yeah,
So
there was a reason DJ Wall didn't follow me down there for sure.
yeah,
It's
I could
it's
see
not an
why.
inviting place.
Smart man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the third one you guys did is coming out Tuesday, January 21st, when the St. Francis Dam dam collapsed. I don't remember learning anything about that, so that was all very interesting. How did that all come to play for you guys?
Yeah, this is largely forgotten history. It shouldn't be forgotten though, because we're talking about one of the worst civil engineering disasters in US history, not just in California history, but some 400 to 500 people lost their lives. There was what happened was LA had built a giant dam to hold back a giant reservoir about 50 miles north of the city as part of its aqueduct system. And in the middle of the night in 1928, it collapsed. And just this wall of water started rushing down the Santa Clara River Valley and it went all the way to the ocean. And there were all of these unsuspecting communities in the way. And there were, of course, the acts of and there are stories about they're tragic stories, but there are also stories of heroism. There's stories of resilience, stories of rebuilding. You can take heart a little bit in how these communities responded, how they banded together and rebuilt their lives.
Yeah, so are there ways for the viewers to kind of find the locations you went to go maybe share with their kids and grandkids?
Absolutely. This is so we made this episode into a road trip. I took with my buddy Jeff Mano. We drove up to the dam site and then we drove down the flood path. That's a state highway down the Santa Clara
Okay.
River Valley. The dam site is actually one of California's newest national monuments. It was named a national monument, I believe, in 2020. There is not a lot of visitor infrastructure there yet, but it is open
Okay.
to the public, and I encourage people to go visit it. Yeah.
Great. I'm gonna put that on my to-do before the summer list. So that's why I love this show. It's so much history and education and places to go that we don't even know is on our backyard, right?
Absolutely.
And the fourth one you guys are having Tuesday, January 28th is my favorite animation, and I know that touches your heart. Let's talk about that one.
Oh yeah, that was a really fun episode. We thankfully we had as our consulting producer on this episode, Don Hahn, who was this legendary. He was this legendary animation producer. He produced, like Beauty and the Beast for Disney, The Lion King. So it was great to have him on the show. So he provided his own insights, but he also gave us amazing access to a lot of people, both within the Disney company and connected to it. So we toured Walt Disney's first Los Angeles home.
Oh,
I got to work with the ink and paint people to color and draw Mickey Mouse, and they gave me this amazing
where is it?
souvenir. They have this is right here. This is a little bottle of lobster red. It's their proprietary red that is like Mickey Mouse's pants or something like that. There was a nice souvenir that they gave me. No, that was a really amazing episode.
Yeah. On the four that you've done this for this season, what did
Mhm.
you learn the most? Like, the one that stands out that you're not ever going to forget.
I mean, it is certainly the St. Francis Dam collapse episode. It was a story that, I knew about the collapse. I knew about William Mulholland's role in it, but I didn't really know about how it affected the communities and how the communities banded together in the aftermath. And, sometimes you just have to go drive there and talk to people. And that's what we did in the episode. And we really learned a lot.
Now, in the animation one that has like Walt's where he first started, is that the actual garage
Mhm.
or is his garage somewhere else? What's the story behind that? I was kind of curious.
The house is original. The garage in the back was relocated in the 1980s to
Okay.
Garden Grove.
Oh,
At the time, for whatever reason, the Walt Disney Company had no interest in saving it, and it was so people banded together and they moved it to Garden Grove. So when the Disney family bought this house recently, and they saved it from the wrecking ball, it was slated for redevelopment. It's going to be turned into like an apartment building.
oh wow.
They decided to build a faithful replica of that garage. You can still feel it's still special to just walk in there and know that this is where LA animation started. It was the first animation studio in Los Angeles, and it was just this backyard garage.
Isn't that something? So will the house be
Yeah.
up for fans to go to eventually, or what are they doing with the actual house that you visited?
Private residence, I believe
Okay.
the Disney family is, yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Just we always ask us Disney people always have to ask those questions because why not go and
Right.
knock on the door?
Right.
Oh,
I think you should feel free to walk down the sidewalk and take a look, but I wouldn't disturb anybody inside.
sounds good. At least take a picture of it to
Yeah.
say this was it. I'm so
Yeah.
glad that the family saved that and stuff. So in the next season 8, will you be going back to the space shuttle and following up with it being all done and ready for all of us to have an event there, we hope?
Oh, that's a great idea. We hadn't thought of that, but I think that would make a lot of sense once that's finally open to the public again.
and see it because it, to see it fly over, to see it moving over in Crenshaw when I went to do that, and then to go see it
Yeah,
there at its resting place was amazing. And then to know that now it's upright, it's like, oh, goosebumps.
I know. It looks like it's just about to take off any second.
So, what words do you have for all of our viewers that we know we need to watch it, but tell us how you feel about all of these four, Nathan.
Oh, I mean, these are some of the best episodes we've ever made. We're in season 7 now, and I feel like there's no shortage of topics. We found 4 great ones here. And anybody who wants to watch these, yeah, they're on the PBS, the free PBS app, the PBS SoCal YouTube channel, and of course we're broadcasting on PBS SoCal, wherever you find that.
Or we can stream it. Yes, we have. I have the passport, and which
Yeah.
I love. And folks, you should. You
Yep.
got New Year's Eve money? Use it on the PBS SoCal passport. It's amazing, all the great shows. And Ben, congratulations. This is going to go on and on and on. It'll be a. I can't wait to interview you at 100 season 100 because there's amazing things that is all over LA, and we love having you. Join us here at Hollywood Times, and we will put this up on our YouTube channel, Hollywood Times official. And you look great, Nathan. Stay safe out there.
Great to talk. Yeah, great to talk to you again, Judy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.